Today we've got the lovely Melanie Ann Vance with us, who's going to be appearing at the Blandford Literary Festival event on Saturday, Saturday the 8th of March. Melanie, lovely to have you with us. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, Nat. It's lovely to be here. Yeah, my name's Melanie, and I live just outside Blandford, and I'm a poet, really. And I spend most of my time wandering in the beautiful countryside of North Dorset and writing poetry about it.
Is there anywhere particularly that inspires you? A favourite spot?
I love it up on the top of Hod Hill. And I must admit, I very often sit up there with my dog beside me and imagine what it must have been like to be a Roman legionary so far away from home, posted up there, and what it must have been like. And I'm just carried away by the Dorset countryside, its beauty, and I just paint with words, to try and describe that.
Fantastic. I mean, we are very lucky to live in this beautiful county, aren't we? I mean, it really is glorious, especially on a sunny day like it is today. You said
Fabulous.
about painting with words. Do you ever do any drawing to accompany your poetry at all?
I actually do, yes. I paint in oils and I paint in watercolors and I also do embroidery, which is a big passion of mine. So very often I've got some embroidery that I did that actually is about a hedgerow, and the embroidery is a hedgerow, and I've got a piece called the hedgerow that goes along with it. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's lovely. That's lovely. Do you display your work at all? Because I know obviously I've heard you your poetry on several of the Cedar Tree Writers or at last year's Blandford Literary Festival event. So, do you ever display the two together?
I haven't done yet, Nat, to be honest, because I haven't found an appropriate forum for it, really. I
Mm.
mean, my art tends to be, with one notable exception, quite a private thing that I use to keep me in a mentally healthy state, to be
Mm.
honest. No, it's meditative for me.
Yeah.
Um, the art that is going to be displayed is a group art piece, which is an embroidery of medieval women in the Stour River Valley that I'm working on with a group of 15 other women. We've been
Fantastic.
producing for a few years. So
And do you meet up? Is it sort of once a week you meet up, or is it something you
um,
individually have a piece to do?
yeah, we've been doing the actual work separately, but we come together once a month and we plan, and now we're sewing it together as a group.
Oh, wow,
Uh,
fantastic.
we're just getting to the stage of finishing this piece of embroidery, and we're going to be needing to embroider the background together to pull it all together.
Brilliant.
Um, and then probably working on another idea.
Ah,
Um,
lovely.
yeah, so we're always looking for people who might be interested in getting involved in something like that.
Oh,
So if you're
fantastic.
interested, come along to Blandford Town Museum and
Oh, that
express an
sounds good.
interest.
Yeah, that's brilliant. A brilliant shout out for them. That's fantastic. Yeah. Now you touched actually on about women in medieval times, and obviously you've got a session on Saturday at our standalone event in sort of a celebration of International Women's Day. Um, your session starts at 9:40 at the Woodhouse Gardens, and it's Maiden Mother Crone. So tell us a little bit more about that, because I think it links in obviously with your embroidery that you've talked about.
Well, it does. I mean, I find it feel quite passionately about the fact that traditionally, and when I grew up, women were seen in a very certain way. We had very definite roles that we had to play, and that's the idea of first we were the maiden, then we were the mother, then we were the crone. Hence the piece that I've written, and and I'm kind of questioning now: is that all there is? Is that all there is to being a woman? And how do we as women, along with, well, our whole society, get recognized as ourselves and
Mm.
celebrated as ourselves outside gender, religion, um, boundaries, really? And so therefore we can explore our own talents and possibilities.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's what I want to carry on and talk about, because I'm very aware, being an artist myself, that a lot of our communal art, particularly sculptures, of real people, by majority portray men,
Mm.
and those women that do exist are sort of old queens like Queen Victoria and Queen
Yeah.
Anne.
Yeah.
And I'm very aware that when we're talking to the new generation, how can we be or imagine what we can't see around us?
Yeah.
So, what I'm wanting to do is start a dialogue about how we represent ourselves in art and how do we get that discussion going in a reasonable way. So,
Yeah.
that's what my talk's going to be about. And in fact, I've got a poem to end the session that again is looking at that whole idea of women being circumscribed. I wrote a piece actually for the Cedar Tree Writers last week, which was kind of based on the word grace and as a response to a W.B. Yeats poem
Mm.
about a woman who's got old and is no longer beautiful, and therefore her perception and her choices are circumscribed. And I'm thinking, well, is that the case? So I've written a poem about that, which I'm going to finish with.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Yeah, looking forward to hearing more.
So what I'm wanting is some kind of discussion going on,
Yeah.
um, because what I've learned through doing the embroidery that we're doing, which is looking at the role of women in medieval times and portraying those women who lived in the Stour River Valley at that time. Um, there's so much, they're so rich, and yet we don't really know about it. And
Yeah.
what can we learn from them and carry forward for ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's what I want. I want people to come along and have a discussion about it and think, well, where can we go? What kind of art can we be involved with?
Yeah, yeah. And that sounds like something that maybe we can take forward to November and bring all those
Well,
ideas
that would
together.
be fantastic, wouldn't it? Performance art, embroidery, that's my passion, but I also paint,
Mm,
uh, dance, could we sing?
yeah.
What could we do?
Yeah, fantastic. That's definitely going to bring some ideas on the day, hopefully, that we can maybe put even some questions out to the people that are coming, because obviously our ticket sales have I mean, we've literally only got a few tickets left. So anybody watching this, they need to get a move on and grab their t last few tickets. So there's going to be a really good audience there to hopefully get some really great ideas that maybe we can take forward and work on ready for November. Which, like you say, embroidery as well, if we can get them involved.
Well, I've seen this growth. I mean, we started with just two of us on the embroidery. There are over 16 of us
Oh,
now. But the
wow.
really interesting thing is some of those people had never picked up a needle before. They'd never,
Hmm.
or they hadn't done embroidery since they were very small. And they've made friendships. We've got a group that's cohesive now. And that's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And like you say, I mean, I remember years ago doing a piece of research on the Bayeux Tapestry and
Mm.
seeing all the stitches in, and it was, we're talking about this immense record, but you saying you're quite right. How many women were sort of depicted in that period, in that
Well, there are
stitching?
actually two women in the Bayer tapestry.
Is it two? I can say it's, but it's a long piece to only have two.
Yeah, exactly. And those two women are both running away,
Oh,
being chased by, yeah, aggressors. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're absolutely right. I mean, I think you gave me a percentage before we came on about how many women are actually portrayed in what you call street
Well,
art.
I think, I mean, a shout out
Yeah.
to Radio 4 here. There's a program that's looking at where the best place to live as a woman is in the world.
Mm.
And they looked at statuary in the UK, and apparently 17% of the real people, so I'm not counting naiads and dryads and
Yeah.
semi-clad people,
Yeah.
I'm talking about real people here. 17% of that street art are women.
Wow.
And of that 17%, most of them are either Queen Victoria,
Yeah.
Queen Anne, Emily Pankhurst, or Florence Nightingale. I mean,
You
there
know,
are exceptions.
if you asked me who I thought would be depicted in street art, they would be the four that I would have pulled out. And
Mm.
I'd never really thought about it until you said. So this is really going to be some thought-provoking stuff that you're going to be talking about on Saturday. So
And one of the questions I'm posing is if we were to do a piece of art about a contemporary woman in the town,
yeah,
who would we depict? I mean, there are some really powerful women we could talk about, but
yeah.
that would be interesting to
It
get people's.
would. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. You've certainly made me think, it definitely draws you to it. Wow. Well, fantastic. I mean, with going back to your poetry, you've obviously a published poet, and you write, is it the time traveling poet? I think we've
that's
seen before.
my published piece.
Mm,
That's an autobiographical piece, really.
yeah.
It tells the story of 10 years of my life in poetry.
Mm,
Uh, and I use poetry as a way of working out what I actually think because it's like me having a conversation with myself.
mm,
So that's what I use the time traveling poet for.
yeah.
Um, I've also been published in a local poetry magazine, Tears in the Fence.
Yeah.
Um, so thank you to David Caddy there.
Yeah.
Um,
And what about the
and
future? Are you plans to do another one at all? Maybe a
well,
collect?
I mean, I read some at the literary festival of my
Mm,
more recent collection because I wrote a year in the life of the time traveling poet, basically,
mm,
ending last April. So I've got a year of my life in poetry,
yeah.
which is far more about this area.
Yeah.
It's about the Blackmore Vale, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I should do something with that, but nah, I don't know what to do with it.
Oh, I'm going to be honest. I'm glad you said that because that's what I was going to come on to because I remember you reading it and it was very seasonal as well, which obviously a year of your life you would cover all of that. And I think there is, there's opportunity there. That definitely don't just let that go because I think, it was a great piece that you read out, and I just see that, there's more for the time traveling poet to publish.
Yeah. Well, I write all the time, as you know. You've read
Yeah.
quite a bit of stuff, haven't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, it just comes out.
No, it's good. It's really good. And like you say, it's a way of expressing yourself, all them
Mm,
conversations that you have with yourself, because we all do it. We're all having a little chat while we're going about our daily life. But like you say, sitting still and just being able to take some of it in and then be able to almost regurgitate it in words.
mm,
Painting with words, as you say, it's brilliant. It's a lovely way to relax and, as you've said, meditative
mm,
creativity. And that's basically really, Paula and I was talking about this yesterday. Being creative is just the best way for your well-being to work
I,
through things, and to get things out in the open. So, the more that we can do with regards to Blandford Literary Festival and having people like yourself come and chat, perfect.
yeah, because I mean, I'm relatively new to the area. I've lived here, what, 8 years now, so
Mm,
relative newcomer. But I've made so many great
mm,
friends
mm,
through my poetry and
mm.
through my creativity.
Yeah.
Um, so it's also a way of extending your friendship group and
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, definitely. Well, we should certainly be looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, and it was great to have a little catch up with you before, obviously Saturday's event. I'm just going to reiterate, you're on at 9:40 at the Woodhouse Gardens on Saturday, the 8th of March, and it is Maiden Mother Crone, and we're really looking forward to hearing that and seeing what thoughts and ideas come out from the audience as well. Great
yeah,
idea
yeah, it's
about,
going to be exciting,
yeah.
whatever, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's going to be a great
absolutely.
time.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, thank you very much, Melanie. Quick chat with you, and we shall catch up on Saturday.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Nat.
All
Thanks
right,
for asking me to talk.
no problem.
Bye.
Speak to you soon. Bye bye.